So almost everyone, I can guarantee everyone in our industry has heard of this brand and most likely have either used one of their products or has hired one of their products. So today I have Ant from Digga. So thank you very much for coming on the show, Ant.
My pleasure.
No worries. So I hear they call you the YouTube man.
Yeah.
How did you?
Famous out throughout Asia.
That's the one. How did that name come about? Before we go any further.
Yeah, it came about on an Indonesian trip. So we were going off into the Indonesian jungles to help out with some product that we were handing over. They'd bought some. It was some pretty expensive product for mulching and land clearing, and we were just there, and a couple of guys come along. You know, everyone in the village had to come and meet these Australians that were in the village. You know, it was nearly 30 odd hours it took us to get there. So by the time we got there, we were sort of a bit of a unique thing, these two white guys in this remote sort of Indonesian village. And lo and behold, a village chief came along or something, and the guy's talking, going, this guy's from Digga. And he says, YouTube. And he's going, do you do YouTube? And I said, oh, yeah, I do our product videos for YouTube. And he had seen those videos that I do about our products. So, and then, of course, another guy come along, and you just hear him say, YouTube, this YouTube guy, because they weren't very good with their English. They had an interpreter. So we had to get up the YouTube channels and show them all the YouTube videos and that sort of thing. And then in the Philippines, I'm walking up an aisle of a trade show, and it was a Chinese distributor, or not a distributor, Chinese manufacturer, and he's pointing at me and then talking to his guy next to him and pointing to him again, to me again. And as I got up there, he says, "You YouTube, you Digga YouTube, please, you stand on our stand and honour us with your knowledge," or something like that, he says. So we had to talk. So it sort of became a bit of a joke that, you know, I was the YouTube guy. So
There you go. No, I met some of the guys at the Diesel Dirt and Turf, and I was telling them that we're going to probably do an interview, and they're like, "Just call him the YouTube man, yeah, stir him up." Yeah,
yeah, that's it.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, but I don't think in the early days I never introduced myself. I'd just go, "G'day, guys. We're talking to you about this today," whatever. So, you know, people didn't know me as Ant or Anthony or anything like that. So it was just, "Oh, you're that YouTube guy." So
Oh, there you go. So you're
I'm the
famous,
only
mate.
silly
You're famous.
brave one enough to do it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you got lumped with doing all the YouTube stuff. Yeah, because I noticed you're on most of the videos.
Yeah, I've been in and around Digga for my whole life, basically, my whole working life. And so I sort of got a fairly good knowledge of the business and the product and outside and around the product line and all that sort of thing. So I find it easy to talk. I don't, you know, if there's a camera shoved into my head, I don't get all weird and out about it all. So I just sort of lumbered into it. You know, people, as our marketing team wanted to do some videos, they said, "Would you talk about augers?" I find it very easy to talk about our product line. So yeah, I just did it. I probably struggle more when marketing says, "Here's the script, you've got to stick to this and you've got to say these words." That'll take multiple takes because it's not the way I speak, and, you know, I talk with my hands, I do all those sorts of things, and so I just be natural, I guess, and like I'm talking to a customer. So I find it quite easy to talk in front of the video.
Yeah. No, I can tell. That's good. Yeah, that's a good trait to have. I noticed actually, when I talk to a lot of people, they get frightened if I say, "Hey, I just want you to jump on the camera and give a 20-second spiel on your products." They like freak out, like, "Oh, no, I can't do that." It's funny how
I just pretend I'm talking to, like I'm selling you something, or I'm standing in the showroom talking to a customer. And certainly the product that I'm very au fait with, you know, I'm into ground engaging tools. That's my niche bit, is ground engaging tools and drilling tools and all those sorts of bits. So I find that very, very easy to talk about. You know, if it's some of the attachments, the obscure attachments that I'm maybe not 100% on, then yeah, I will sort of stumble over my words a little bit, or I have to, do a bit of research myself and refresh myself on some minor specs or anything like that. So
Yeah. So what's your actual title there? Like, so what do you actually do at Digga?
yeah, I sort of do a bit of my official title is product manager. Um, with that, I do. It's a vast. We do 72 different attachments, and then we got custom lines as well. So it's a vast product line. So yeah, sales has been where I've been most of my life in Digger and previous company, which was a ground engaging drilling company. So I've had 2 stints with Digger. So I had a 7-year stint, and then went back to the original company that I worked for, which was 10 years with those guys, and then went back for 4 years, and then Digger bought that company. So I ended up back at Digger and moved up to Queensland from Sydney. So mostly sales. I've done from sales repping to sales manager to branch manager. I was Queensland sales manager up here for a while, and I just probably needed a break out of that direct sales and day-to-day grind of sales. So Digger sort of came up with a product manager role, which I'm very much on the development side as well. I help engineering with all that sort of thing as well. So I fall into many categories. So to wear one hat is probably a bit hard, but product managers probably best suits that one hat. But I'll have a sales hat on one day. I'll have the marketing hat, engineering, down help with production, with setting up a customized auger or something like that. So to attending trade shows. So a bit of everything. I'm sort of that roundabout guy that helps with everything.
All right. So it seems like Digga's in the blood. Can you tell us a bit about Digga, the company? So people, like I said, most people have heard of it and see it around. Yeah. What's the history on that?
Yeah. So Digga was founded by Stuart Wright. So Stuart was one of my very early customers when I left school and joined a company called Pengo. His father had previously run Pengo and passed away, and Stuart continued to sell bits and pieces. He would sell wear parts and stuff up in Queensland, and started off with a company called Sunplaz, which was Sunshine Plastics, and but in between trying to make some money, he would sell Pengo teeth. So the teeth are what goes on the auger to cut into the ground, and then naturally people ask him to make can you make an auger? Can you make a drive unit? And Stuart, being the creative guy that he was, he looked up how to do these sorts of things. So I would sell him teeth and holders and bits and pieces over the years, and you just get to know who those people are. I guess the coincidence was that and I don't have not too long a story, but on my way to meeting a girlfriend that I'd just met, and we're sort of starting our blossoming romance at 19 years old. Still married to the lady today, but on the way there, I noticed these big black augers on the back of this truck. So I pull in there and knock on the door like the good little sales rep I was, and tried to give a business card over. And it was Alan Wade, who is he's just stepped down as our CEO. He's still on the board, but he goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Alan. I'm your opposition." And I hadn't heard of an opposition. I knew Sunplaz, the customer, but Digga had started up and they were building augers. So they sort of became a bit of an opposition to us. But me and Alan got a friendship going, and I would meet him and Stuart up the old Engadine Bowling Club, and got to know those guys. And fast forward, I think 14 years later, I sort of chatted with Digger and joined them as a sales rep to try and sell things in New South Wales under Alan, as Alan progressed up the ladder. And that's where I started my career with Digger, which was in 1999, I think, at the end of 99. Met Susie along the way, and Zoe and Liam and the rest of the family, the Wright family, and have just continued on for that. We had a lover's quarrel, like I call a lover's quarrel, in 2007. We parted ways, and I went back to Pengo, and which was now Universal Augers. But then, as I said, Digga 4 years later bought the joint. So Susie asked me to move up to Queensland and shifted all the family up here and flew up on a Monday and back on a Friday for 6 months, and until I moved everyone up in 2011 and been here ever since. So I've just watched this. So I've watched this place go from, selling a couple of augers to drive units to the 70 plus attachments that we do today. So.
Interesting story. I tell you what, that's fantastic. Yeah, I often think about moving to Queensland, so I might have to.
Mate, millions have at the moment. It's very crowded. Stay away.
No more. I got to stay down in Mexico there. So yeah, that's right.
That's it.
That's it. So yeah, you're right. You mentioned about augers and stuff, and when I think of Digga, and most people probably think of Digga, we automatically probably go to augers, and drills. But you do offer a lot more than that, and I've had like other products like ramps and things. So what other sort of products do you offer? I know you said there's about 70 odd. What are some of the main ones?
We have a core attachment, which is our augers, drive units, trenches, sweeper brooms, so road sweeping brooms, angle brooms. We do pallet forks. We do stick rakes. We do dozer blades. So it sort of just goes on from there. Most things that you can clip onto a skid steer, we will sort of have a go at doing those sorts of things. We do bale spears for ag. We do specialised drilling equipment for the back of tractors. Ram drills. Traditionally, a tractor can't push an auger into the ground. They just gravity drop. So Digga developed a ram drill that puts a hydraulic cylinder on it and pushes it into the ground. What else do we do? Forestry equipment. So we've got a vast array of stuff that we do. So could we do more? Absolutely, we could do more. There's millions of attachments we could do, but it's trying to fit that in with the demands of what we already do now. If we could double the size of the factory, we could certainly help everyone. But we've got to be sort of pick and choose which are the important attachments to do. So.
Yeah. And what if someone wants to buy a Digga product? Do you guys sell direct, or do they have to go and find a retailer? How does it work?
Yeah, so we have a mixed model. So it's a bit like Apple, I guess, in that you can go to the Apple store and buy directly from the Apple store, or you go to JB Hi-Fi and buy the same Apple product. So we're much the same. If you want to deal with Digga and the Digga experience and the level of service that we provide, you can certainly come to us and we'll sell to that end user at a recommended retail price. And then what we do is we also sell through a network of dealers. So those dealers are set up throughout the country, and they buy at a wholesale price because they're stocking the product, they're promoting the product, and then that way the local guys, so if you're up in Cairns or Townsville or West Australia, wherever in this big wide world of ours, you're somewhere and you want to deal with that local dealer, that dealer will then be able to supply the Digga product to you. So we're still there to support the dealer if the end user wants to deal with us and pick our brains for whatever they're wanting to do, and then go, that's cool, thank you, I'll go buy it from John's supply shop over in Cairns or wherever it might be. Then he'll go and deal with that and buy it. So that's the sort of model we offer. It was based on before internet, before the world got smaller through phones and that sort of thing. The guy up in Cairns or far north Queensland wouldn't know about Digga unless he's told by his local dealer. So by having an agent there or a dealer, they then become our sales reps up in that area. But obviously you can jump online and search it all up a lot easier these days. So it is a changing landscape of how that all works. But we have very loyal dealers who stock and supply and back up our products. So it's a working model that still is successful today.
Yeah, true. Yeah, with the power of the internet nowadays, it's changing. Do you guys also provide or or service the rest of the world, like apart from Australia?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have a factory-owned outlet in USA, so in Iowa, so where the Field of Dreams. Anyone watched the Kevin Costner movie, Build It and They Will Come. So we build a factory out there, and it's about 8,500 square metre factory now, and it's like a miniature version of what we've got here. So they machine over there, they cut, weld, laser cut, they do everything, bar make the actual gearbox components. We still retain that here in Australia, and we'll ship that over. But we've got an expat over there, Dave Stevens, who he's done his apprenticeship and all that through Digga, and he's over there helping the US boys run that, and they're going very successful. Then we've got our UK operation that's been going for many years, to UK. So that's a successful. They look after then Europe. So from UK they distribute out to the European market, and then we service all the Asian market as well, and through to Korea, Indonesia, Thailand, basically anywhere you want to go. We were shipping out to Russia until the war started, but that sort of dried up. But we were shipping Aussie-made gearboxes over into Russia. So I don't think there's anywhere in the world that there isn't a Digga gearbox working somewhere.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I never knew Digga was that big. I just assumed it was like a small Australian company, you know?
No, it's massive. I think we fluctuate depending when you can get enough people to work. We've always got positions down the back. You can never fill enough positions, but I think we're sort of around that 300 mark, all up under all the facilities, because we also have New South Wales and Victoria. They're factory-owned facilities, so they're there for servicing, repairs, warehousing. So we will ship 2 shipments a week down to those branches and stock the common stock on the shelf. So for those guys that need an auger straight away, or a gearbox or trencher, they can go in and usually we'll have it on the shelf and be able to supply very quickly. So then we have a West Australia is like it's not a franchise, but they trade under Digga West. So that's there. They run that over and they look after the West. And then there's Digga New Zealand, also trade under the Digga banner, and that's owned by Gary, who was I think he was employee number 2 or 3 at Digga with Stuart, and moved back to Kiwi land and started up Digga over there. So
yeah, there you go. No, it's massive. Yeah, very very surprising. So I gather that you guys make all the products yourselves, or is everything made here in Australia? How does that work?
yeah, we probably do probably 85, I think is about the percentage mark at the moment, 85% of it in-house. Obviously, to be competitive on a world market where you've got, you can get much more cheaper product out of China or India or anything like that. For us as an Australian manufacturer to be competitive in that market, we have to be quite strategic in where what we get outside, that we don't machine in-house or to cut in-house or something like that. So there's some very high volume items that it's just not economical for us to make in-house. So we will outsource those, castings, those sorts of things, teeth. But we control that through our buying partners and all that sort of thing to make sure that the quality is where we want it to be. But obviously with the volumes and that, would have to be 5 times the size that we are to be able to produce all that in-house. But like we experienced through COVID, when the world just shut down and, chain supplies dried up and all that sort of thing, we have the ability to make about 92 to 93% of it in-house. So if we can't source from somewhere, we can turn that part on and produce it in-house. So we proved that we were very sustainable through those sort of periods where international shipping, both in and out, dried up and we couldn't do anything, and we were able to maintain our supply. If anything, we grew in our supply demands because people couldn't get imported products. So
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Yeah, that's right. And what about, so we spoke about products that you supply and that. Do you actually hire as well? Do you rent stuff out or you just sell?
Look, some of our really large drive, we have a big drive unit range. So, they're a specialty drive. They sort of start at 45,000 Newton meters of torque, and then which is 45 ton rotational torque. So 1 meter, 4.5 ton torque, that one,
Yeah.
and all the way up to 50 ton rotational torque. So that's 1 meter from each center. That's how much power it's got. So those drive units we tried to hire because they're quite expensive. They're close sub 100,000, and some of the big ones are just over $100,000. So there's some guys that need it on projects. So we sort of toy with that, but it's not our game to be a hirer. So it then competes with some of our customers which are hiring. So our product is available through all the usual hire equipment hire places, dry hire and wet hire places. So we don't tend to.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned like servicing and repairs and stuff. So do you guys actually service your own stuff as well?
Absolutely. So we have a sort of under the Digga umbrella. There's obviously the Kanga loaders, which is the little mini loaders, and under that as well is Massa, which is our service division. So Massa will look after the servicing of the Kangas, but also the attachments as well. So back to base here. So we have a workshop here at Yatala, and then in our New South Wales office and our Victorian office, there's facilities there for servicing as well and repairs. And then there's a spattering of dealers that we have trained up just to do the basic oil change some bearings, replace a seal, that sort of thing. But anything major is back to us, and we'll rectify any sort of issues or repair whatever just bent, and and get it up and going. So
Yeah, I actually didn't really. I had a PD5 and a PD4 on my little 5 tonners, and I never knew that you had to actually service them. And then,
no,
one day someone said to me, "Have you changed the oil in that thing?" And I was like, "No." And then I think what hinted was that the seal started leaking, and then they're like, "You should go get it serviced." And so I had to go and I called Digga, and they said, "Yeah," and they bring it in, and they put a new seal and did the oil. And then after that, I realized like, yeah, you're supposed to actually change the oil on these things. I don't think a lot of people probably don't know that.
No, 100 is the most common misconception, is that people think the oil from the host machine travels through the gearbox and comes back out, but that gearbox is a sealed off unit, and it's like a differential on a car. It has its own oil, and it needs maintained, especially with the life that a gearbox goes through with the big loads. You're getting all those teeth pushing together at the planetary, so it'll break down that oil. Despite that we use, extreme pressure gear oil and a high quality oil, it does break down over time and needs to be replaced. So, mate, we've seen gearboxes come back in pumped full of grease. Guy drilled and tapped his own grease nipple in, going, "You silly buggers forgot to put the grease nipple in," and he's pumped that thing full of grease, and but it worked. We said, "How long's it been like this?" And 3 or 4 years. So it was still going, and like you, they had I'd had an oil leak once, but it stopped. Well, that was because the oil was completely out of it, and it was still running. So, yeah, there's 100 funny stories like that of people trying to do their own repairs or misconceptions.
Yeah, true.
When
I
all
have
else
to admit,
fails, read the user manual, eh?
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I have to admit, I did get a lot of information out of those podcasts that you guys actually started,
Oh, yeah.
and watching some of your videos. So obviously you're not a newcomer to the podcast world. What happened with those podcasts? So you guys kicked it off, and then I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
don't
anything.
know. It was that was myself, Lionel, and Alan Wade, and it's I don't know. I guess you're asking me questions, so I find it quite easy to talk. But when we'd sort of sit down there, you go, "So funny story, Ant," and you go, "Well, I can't think of a funny story to tell now." So I don't know
Yeah,
whether we ran out of stuff to say. We tried to ask what people want us to talk about and that sort of thing, and but yeah, it's sort of, and I guess maybe work life and life got in the way, and it was just, we'll have to get back to that, and didn't quite get back to it. So But yeah, it's, a few guys have commented that they'd like to hear it again. So I guess we'll have to prod Lionel. He's the director, and get him to see if he can get me and Alan behind a microphone again, or some of the other guys if they want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's good. Look, I'm the same. I just find that it's time consuming. So people think it's easy. You just have a chat, then you just upload it. But you've got a lot of editing to do in between, and then uploading and changing things. And yeah, there's a fair bit involved. And then, like you say, you got to think of the content, and then you got to pre-plan it before you even start. So there's a fair bit involved. It's not as easy as what people think.
Absolutely, yeah, and you couple of takes at it, and I'm a bit of a swearer, so I'm trying my best not to use my bad words today. So as I do on the podcast, when we were doing ours, we had to bleep a couple of things out every now and then because I'd drop an F bomb here or there, or But anyway,
Yeah.
you get
Oh,
through it.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, they say it gives attention. It gets attention when you swear. So maybe
That's
just
right.
don't worry about it. Yeah. I think everyone's used to it nowadays anyway. So you were saying that you do more of the ground sort of penetrating stuff. What's the most popular product in your eyes?
As in that we sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still the number one is auger drives and augers. Like it's it astounds me from being in the industry now. Like as I said, I'm 55 years old now. I started in this game straight out of high school at 18, turning 19, and I was welding augers together, and I remember the sales rep at the time clipping on a job board saying you got to make 10, 12-inch augers. And I'm thinking in my head, this is a bugs game. Everyone will have an auger. How many augers can you sell? Everyone who uses an auger didn't even know what an auger was before I started that. But everyone will have an auger, and there's no longevity. So, fast forward 30 something years ago, and today down the back here, we can produce anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 augers in a month. And I don't know where they go. They just keep going out the door, and that's everything from a little one-man post-hole borer on a little like a whippersnipper engine that you hold like this. We'll do an auger for that, through to soil mech drill rigs and dedicated drill rigs and everything in between. So that is still the number one product that we would probably put out every day, every week. Someone is calling looking for a auger and an auger drive to drill a hole in the world. So it's not until you walk
Yeah.
around, I guess, and have a look at everything that's stuck in the ground, or even on a pad on the ground at some point, most likely had a hole drilled in the ground to put it in place. So it's a big demand, and it we meet the demand of everything from as I said, one man through the large excavators and every size in between. All the augers they go up in either 150 mil, 200, 250, 350 mil increments. So you've got everything in between. So, and then you've got the customized ones as well.
Yeah, yeah. I have to admit, I had to look at a few of your videos to work out how to do a couple of my jobs. So there was a couple of jobs where for example, I was doing one and I was in like this scoria type ground, and I tried using the core barrel on there and it didn't work. And then I watched one of your videos and you were saying, to probably use like um, a dedicated rock auger instead. So I got one of those with the sort of bullet heads on it,
Yep.
and that worked heaps better. So
Yeah.
I suppose there are different uses for different augers. So you can't just have one auger. It doesn't do everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's why as a generic term they're called drilling tools, because they're a tool to drill into the ground. I often say to guys, it's a builder doesn't turn up to your house with a hammer and a chisel and expect to build the whole house. They've got multiple tools to do whatever you got to do. So you've got earth augers and combo augers and dedicated rock augers and severe rock augers, and then you've got in between augers that are customized for the job that needs to be done. So you're never going to get that one auger that's going to do everything. You know, it's a common misconception too, is that people will just buy one auger and that will do everything, or that you buy a rock auger.
Can you say you were saying about
So you'll get a guy that's bought a rock auger and he's on a 1.5 ton excavator and he's trying to drill out 200 MPa rock. You know, it's you know, the tool's only as good as the drill. You know, like it's like a drill down there. If you can have the best drill bit, but if you're not pushing down with enough weight to get into that steel, then you're not going to get through it. So it's exactly the same. You know, there's a combination. We can give you the best drilling auger and the best drilling drive, but it needs a combination of down pressure and all those sorts of things. So again, there's ways around that, and we can try and work with them. It'll make life easier, but you know, sometimes you got to get the big boys in and just brute force, and down pressure will be the answer to getting that hole dug. So.
And you guys have come up with that halo concept. Can you just explain the halo, how the halo works to people and what it is?
Sure. So I guess the very basics of it is an alignment system. So when you've got a full green light, you know your drive unit is plumb and you're drilling a straight hole. So traditionally, an excavator guy especially, it's not as critical, I guess, on skid steers because you're much closer. But especially those excavator guys, when they're drilling, you can tell if it's, you know, east west, you know, either side of you can line up fairly well, but for that north south, it's hard. So most guys will have someone standing out there a little bit forward, a little bit back, and guiding them. So you're paying that guy a good hourly rate these days in Australia just to be guiding you for that hole. So halo takes that away. You don't need that guy to guide you in that hole. He can be off prepping the next pier, prepping some form work, whatever you need that other guy to do, and you could be drilling those holes straight. So there's 6 sensors. So we had an alignment system that had a little display in your cabin of your machine, but that meant your eyes had to come away, look at that display, back up, away like that. So it wasn't as easy or user friendly as the halo, because you're always looking at that drive unit with the halo. So that just used like a mercury switch. It was just like a bubble level. So it gave you some accuracy, whereas halo uses 6 sensors. So it gets you not only your crosshair, it gets everywhere in between. So as you go offline, you'll get a green light on one side and a red light on the other. So you just angle back towards your green light until you get a full green light again, and that tells you that you're plumb. So even if your red's on the opposite side to you and you've got a little bank of green lights towards you, you know you've got to lean towards that excavator or bring that boom or dipper arm towards the excavator to straighten it up. You'll get your full light and know you're drilling those holes nice and straight. So pride gets in the way of most guys. They go, I don't need that. I know how to drill a hole. I've been drilling for 20 years or 30 years or whatever it is. It's not a pride thing. It's like anything that aids you in getting your job better, done better and easier and more effective. So it's really just to help you get that done and utilise your labour on the job site.
And so you guys are, I suppose, quite innovative. And I remember at the Diesel Dirt and Turf, they were releasing like a new Digga 4-in-1 bucket for the skid steers. So I had a bit of a go on it. What have you got happening? Like, can you tell us anything that you've got coming up in the future? Or
so that bucket. So we've released the large series, so the heavy duty series in the X series, and the mini bucket. So they're out and done, and with their new features. And then we've just completed a week of testing now with the general size. So you're like 1400 through to 1800 size, which is your most common bucket. That'll be coming out in the X series as well, hopefully towards the end of the year. So we've just put it through its paces, digging up a mountain of dirt that we've got out the front in our demo area. So everyone from very inexperienced operators to more experienced operators had to go, so that we could see what's going to happen with that bucket. Are we going to break it if someone misuses it, and what's going to happen? So that will be out this year. We've got a couple of other things on the horizon that we're trying to get done in the mini attachments. Some, like a little backhoe arm, and that can convert into a grapple bucket, things like that. So it's just finding the time with the day-to-day projects that we've got to do to get those done. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. All right. Let me just have a quick look here. So, okay. So obviously you've got a few competitors now. We're talking about competition before. How do you guys try and make yourselves stand out from your competitors?
I guess we can all talk about the quality, but the quality from around the world is getting better as well. Like it's not as, you can get good quality if you search out good quality. So I guess what really stands us out is our service, our commitment to the customer, our commitment to finding out what the customer needs, and then finding that solution for the customer. Getting back to people as quickly as we can. We've got a large sales team throughout the world and throughout the country. We've got a large commitment to engineering, so none of that's offshore. It's our commitment to the product is, I say, second to none. We will stand by our product, and if we're at fault and we've mismade something, we stand by it. We don't stand and argue and go, oh yeah, but the sun come up on the east today, so there's no warranty. We will stand by it, and then a lot of times, even if it's not warranty, we don't leave someone out high and dry and just go, bad luck, you stuffed up, you're up for $1,000 repair. We're genuine about how we fix things. We're genuine about how we get guys up and running. We will go out and support the product. We went up Port of Brisbane only a few months ago. Guys having lots of troubles. Had lots of people out telling him how he's got to do it. But myself and Steve Goff, who's another product specialist and hydraulics guy, we went up, we helped this guy, and it was like flicking a switch on for light of just techniques of how to get the job done, where little things that he can fix, got him into a different drive unit, got him in a high-performance drive unit, and they were just blown away that these guys would come up and do that. As are the Indonesian stories I said earlier, that, those guys bought $200,000 worth of gear, and they said they spent millions of dollars with other companies and have never seen anyone, yet the two of us humped it up into the jungle and spent a week, putting these things together, helping them with hydraulics, adjusting motors, climbing through knee-deep mud to go out this hemp plantation that was getting done out there. And, that's the commitment we do to the product. That's the Digga difference, is that we will do what we've got to do to support the product, I guess.
Yeah, excellent. And so for anyone that wants to buy a product or is not sure about a product that they've already got, what information do you have on offer for them? I mean, I know I mentioned that I had watched some of your podcasts, and you've got stuff on the internet. Is that correct?
Yeah. So on our website, we've got we've got a 1,000 bits of information on that website. We have lots of photos, videos. We're very technical. We're not secret squirrel stuff. You can jump online and have a look at if it's drive units, have a look at those drive units, and it'll tell you how much your flow can take, or how much flow you can put in it, how much kilowatts you can put in it, what auger will drive, how heavy it is, how long it is. We do all those sorts of information there on the website. Then there's also all the YouTube videos that we try to do as well, and try and give little tidbits of information and that sort of thing. We are working on QR codes so that you scan it on the drive unit and it'll take you to the operator's manuals, the videos on it, anything, exploded views of the parts, all that sort of thing. So they're all stuff that's sort of coming as well, that we will integrate into using technology a little bit better, and be able to just spread the word of information, I guess, and get it out there. So, and if you can't find something, you give us a call and we'll either show you the secret hidey spot that it's in, or put it on the list of things to do and get it done. So we love to help and get people using the equipment right and bettering their jobs.
Mm. And I also noticed, I went on your website recently, I noticed you do like a factory tour on there. So what's the, maybe if you want to just explain that?
Yeah. So, I think our greatest tool is our factory. And again, we're not behind closed doors, and no one can come and have a look. If you're down in Victoria and you're up in Gold Coast for a holiday and you want to pop in and see where that drive unit that you got hanging on your excavator, you pop in, and myself or someone will take you around and give you a little bit of a guided tour. We're only too happy to showcase what we do here on the Gold Coast, and the amount of people that actually walk through and go, "Oh, I've seen that factory. I just thought it was a giant warehouse." You actually do have equipment in here. You can actually see the chunk of steel being turned into a gear, or a round piece of bar being machined down to a 75 square shaft, and the spline put on it, and watch the machines. That's the level of the tour. We'll take you right through and you can see all that happening, things being cut on the laser. They're just stuff that you don't get to see every day. And, we do it nice and safely with all the PPE, and take people for a walk through and can show you what we do. So doors are always open for anyone or groups. If there's a group up here having a golf tour or whatever they're doing, come on through. We'll throw the welcome mat out and take people through.
Excellent. That's amazing. Yeah. Now I have asked a lot of questions. Is there anything that you want to add, or if there's anything that you want to ask, or have I missed something that you probably want to talk about?
No, I think we've covered most of it. I'll probably talk too much, but no, I think Digga's just been here for a long time, and will be here for a long time, and we're always here to help. And if you've got a problem and you need a solution for drilling or any of our other attachments, we're only a phone call away, and staff all up and down the East Coast and around the world. So always here to help and give them the Digga experience. Even if it's a bad experience. I'm not saying we're the greatest every time, but you know what? If we do muck up, we will fix our mistakes, and we will right our wrongs, and make sure that the experience is always good.
Excellent. Now, if listeners want to find out any other information, what do you guys do? Are you on socials? What social platforms
I think
are you
on
on?
all the social platforms. So there's LinkedIn, there's Instagram, Facebook, there's the website. That's got all the links as well. Obviously the YouTube channel, there's a multitude of stuff on there, and I think we're doing some more filming in the coming weeks. So we'll get back out with those. Anywhere, any social media there or platform that you go on, you'll find something to do with Digga there. Otherwise, digga.com, and it'll spread you out from there.
Yeah, that's it. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Ant. I appreciate
pleasure.
all the information. Yeah, thank you. And guys, thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like all my social platforms as well, Earthworks Hub, and also come down to Digga if you ever want to come and do a site tour.
Happy to take you around.
That's it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Take care.
Cheers.